If for some reason I lost all of my memory, what would be the first thing you'd tell me about us?
That's a crazy question.
Yeah.
What are your 3 favorite memories that we share?
One of them's definitely got to be, you know that road trip we had? We went all the way up and down the coast, California. That was awesome. That was really cool.
Yeah, me too.
That's one of them. Second one's probably got to be Wyoming, because that was awesome. That was really cool. And then third one, I think third one kind of lasts for like a while because, are you crying already?
Crying already.
And then third one's got to be, when we were looking up at the stars at our old place. Remember? We always come onto the roof and we look at from the roof
From
deck.
our apartment or from like the hot tub in the new place?
Apartment. Well, hot tub and apartment are tied because it was awesome. It's really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that answer.
If for some reason I lost all of my memory, what would be the first thing you'd tell me about us?
That's a crazy question.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I'm
crazy.
trying to not cry through every question and answer.
Yeah.
I would tell you that we have an amazing, special father-son relationship, that you are an extraordinary soul. You always have been since you were little. And you're a spiritual kid. So like, I can talk to you about spirituality, meta stuff, and you get it. That you're a really smart kid, you do great in school, great athlete, and you have a slight attitude problem sometimes, where you are a little bit, you get in your own way and you get a little bullish, but and that I also tend to just make every single thing a teachable moment, which is probably exhausting for you. But I love you, and we have a great time.
Yeah, love you too. Not everything's exhausting, but a lot of stuff is exhausting. I'm joking.
All right. Okay, how do you describe me to others? How do you describe me to others?
The wisdom dude. No, I'm joking. The best person ever, really. And I'd go deeper and I'd say like everything he says, he really cares about, and he really wants people to understand stuff that he talks about. And he's just an extraordinary person, and you gotta meet him. You gotta meet him. He's amazing. He's life changer. He's a great dude.
Almost cried on that one.
Almost cried on that
Tears
one.
are right there.
Yeah. Yeah, just awesome. If you could go back to the day I was born, what advice would you give yourself about raising me?
That's a great one.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy good.
This kid's gonna push your buttons with a level of, I think I'm right about everything, that is a mirror for my own sense of like, I think I'm right. I used to think I was right about everything, and I had to, and now I'm like, I'm probably right about nothing. Like, the older I get, the more I realize, and the more I learn, the less that I know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's just so much to learn, so much to know, and I just thought that I knew it all. So you kind of remind me of that part of me sometimes, other than your sort of panic kind of feeling that can happen for you, I think you're way more chill than I was at your age. So I would be giving myself advice that you're going to be raising a kid who can be like, you know, stubborn and push your buttons and think he's right and like make me angry, which I've learned. I've gotten better at that.
Yeah.
But also a kid who's like just going to be awesome, so much fun, and I'm going to be really proud of you. But I knew that anyway.
Yeah.
What is one experience you wish I never had, and why?
Well, you said we learn from everything. I mean, that's new information, right? So there's always not a time to get more information. So it's like everything we've been through, if we didn't have this, you still would have been the same person. And that still would have, I feel like if you had been the same person this entire time, it would have been worse than what you're dealing with right now and what you've dealt with.
I'd be dead.
You would be dead. So I don't think there's any time that I think I wish you didn't have. Because all those times, they've shaped you, you know?
That's an amazing answer.
Yeah.
It's funny because I immediately was like, oh, clearly the experience he's going to wish that I never had was getting ALS.
Yeah, when you laughed, I was like...
And then as soon as I saw you pause, I was like, but we learned a lot.
Yeah.
And without it, but I still wish I never got it. I wish that I learned all this without it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
What are you hesitant to talk about, to talk to me about, and why?
I mean, not much. I'm hesitant to talk to you about how hard this can be.
Yeah.
And like, I used to think in my life when there were challenges and things and life was hard, that complaining about it, talking about it was the only way to like get the feelings out.
Yeah.
If you get them out and you're just complaining,
that doesn't
you're
help.
a victim.
Yeah.
Right? And we're trying to go from feeling like a victim to this thing, which makes you feel helpless and hopeless and whatever, to feeling like, no, it's victory. We're going to beat it. Mm-hmm. And we are, or it's already done, right? And so we do that together. And I don't particularly like energy in my life from sympathy and pity around stuff like this. It doesn't help me heal.
Yeah.
I need people to listen to me. I need love. I need to feel safe, right? It's like why I didn't talk about it with you guys for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Because what were you going to do while it wasn't obvious to anybody that I was dealing with this, right? And if you saw me having some problems, I just said I had a problem with my nerves, which is true. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm just going to deal with this. Because if you put a label on something immediately, this is what doctors do, right? It's their job. They give you a quote diagnosis, and then you go get a second opinion. Well, that means the diagnosis is a first opinion. Yeah. So it's an opinion. Mm-hmm. But people take these opinions on and they identify with them and then they go, that's it. And I was like, I don't want to do that with you and your brother and have years of our lives spent with you guys scared and worrying. Right. Also, we had just come out of a pandemic. So we're going to go from a divorce to a pandemic to your dad getting a thing. I was like, no, you do not need to know about that. Because the last thing I wanted to do was be a burden on you guys and have you feel any of the crap and, you know, heavy, sad, heart, whatever. I didn't want you being scared about me because life's hard enough. Mm-hmm. But you guys don't seem like you are. I'm very impressed at how you and your brother have stepped up, how much you help, how much you listen now. You throw yourselves in. We do it as a family. It just makes it easier. And then it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
Like, it's a lot.
Right.
And I wish it was not. And
Good,
God willing, I'll be healed up.
Yeah.
And we'll look back on this time and go, you remember and we'll be so much
I
stronger.
literally was thinking about
so
that
much
last
wiser.
night, like right before I went to bed. Like, we're gonna look back at this, like literally that exact same thought. We're gonna look back at this, and it's just like, yeah, freaking awesome, dude.
All right,
Awesome.
whose turn is it? Last one. Moi.
I got one more though.
What does my love feel like?
Feels like life.
That's huge.
Feels like life. It feels like everything. Not like sadness and all that, but it just feels like I can't put it into words. It's just like everything.
It's a beautiful answer.
Yeah. Your eyes are getting red.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. What's one thing you never want me to forget? You. Never
you never
forget
that.
about you.
I never want you to forget. I mean, we kind of just talked about it. It's another way of saying it. I never want you to forget to believe in yourself. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I forgot that, I guess the simpler but more meta way of saying it is I never want you to forget yourself, who you really are.
Yeah.
This whole experience has been an opportunity for me to remember who I really am.
Yeah.
Consciousness, you know, the awareness. And that part, that energy, essence of me is God. We are pieces of source energy, God. And when you remember that, you're infinite and anything's possible.
Yeah.
And the mind goes into the right place, a place of hope and possibility and love and joy and peace, because that's who we really are. And the rest of this life that spins and storms around and stuff just tries to make you think you're something else. Makes you think you're just my son, you're a student, you're a basketball player, you're a dad, you're a husband, you're an actor, and then you think you're these things.
Another life form.
You think you're the roles that you play. But then if those roles go away,
You don't know what you are.
you don't know what you are.
But that's the trick.
So never forget who you are, who you really are, okay? I think you know what I mean.
I know.
I love you, buddy. This was amazing.
Dude, that was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I just love talking to you
Love talking to you, dude.
without having to pull you away from Call of Duty.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed that conversation at the end, visit theskindeep.com/shop, where you'll find more of our products to create the space to explore the relationships that are most important to you.